Hello, Gemini. Welcome to my channel, Mary's Angel Tarot. Thank you so much for being here. Let's start the reading. There's something building in the distance of your life right now that you can almost feel in the air. And next month, it's going to arrive with the kind of intensity that rearranges everything in its path. But not in the way storms usually do. Not destructively, but transformatively. What I'm picking up is that the storm metaphor here isn't about chaos or loss. It's about power. It's about a force of nature moving through your life that's going to clear out what's stagnant, what's been lingering too long, what's been blocking the flow of your growth. And in its wake, it's going to leave fertile ground for something completely new to take root. The biggest surprise isn't going to be the storm itself, because you can already sense something shifting, something's on the horizon. The surprise is going to be how ready you are for it when it comes, how much you've been unconsciously preparing for this moment without even knowing what you were preparing for. You've been building strength in quiet ways, fortifying yourself emotionally and spiritually. And when next month arrives and this wave of change sweeps through, you're going to discover that you're not fragile anymore. You're not the person who gets knocked over by intensity. You're the person who stands in it and lets it reveal what you're made of. Let me tell you what I'm sensing about the nature of this storm, because it's important that you understand it's not coming to harm you. It's coming to liberate you. There's been a holding pattern in your life, a sense of waiting for something to shift, but not being able to force it or manufacture it yourself. You've been in this suspended state where you know the current situation isn't your final destination, but you can't quite see the path to where you're meant to be. And next month, that holding pattern breaks. The thing that's been stuck starts moving, and it moves fast, with momentum that feels almost overwhelming at first, because you've gotten so used to everything being slow and resistant. What's also present in this reading is that the surprise coming has to do with scale. You've been hoping for small improvements, modest shifts, incremental progress. You've scaled down your expectations because you've been disappointed before. And you're protecting yourself from wanting too much. But what's coming isn't small. It's not incremental. It's a leap, not a step. And the shock of it, the reason this is going to bring tears, is because you're finally going to see that you weren't crazy for wanting more, for believing there was something bigger available to you, for holding on to hope even when circumstances seem to contradict it. The storm is also emotional in nature. You've been holding things together, maintaining composure, being strong for other people, functioning through difficulty without fully letting yourself feel the weight of what you've been carrying. And next month, something is going to crack that containment open. You're going to feel things you've been avoiding or suppressing or managing. And while that might sound scary, it's actually deeply healing. You need to feel to heal. You need to let the emotions move through you instead of storing them in your body and your energy field. At Mary's Angel Tarot, what I'm picking up is that the tears that are coming aren't just about sadness or pain. They're complex tears. They're grief mixed with relief. They're the tears of finally arriving after a long journey. They're the tears of seeing something beautiful after you'd stopped expecting beauty. They're the tears of being witnessed, being met, being held in a way you haven't been in too long. And those tears are going to wash away so much residue, so much accumulated heaviness, that when they dry, you're going to feel lighter than you have in years. What's specific about next month is that it's not just one event or one revelation. It's a convergence of multiple things that have been building separately, suddenly coming together. A personal breakthrough coincides with an external opportunity. An ending you've been avoiding finally completes at the same time a beginning you've been hoping for materializes. Someone from your past resurfaces just as you're ready to engage with them from a completely different place than you were before. The timing of these convergences is what creates the storm effect. It's not one raindrop. It's a downpour of synchronized shifts. There's also a relational element to this that's particularly striking. Someone is going to show up in your life, or someone who's already there is going to show up differently. And the way they see you, the way they hold space for you, the way they meet you in your fullness without trying to diminish or fix or change you, it's going to break something open in your heart. You've been so used to relationships where you have to manage yourself, edit your intensity, tone down your emotions to be acceptable. And this person or this dynamic is going to show you what it feels like to be accepted as you are, storm and all. What I'm also sensing is that the surprise has to do with your own capacity. You're going to be tested next month, not by the universe being cruel, but by life asking you to step into a bigger version of yourself than you've inhabited before. And in that moment of being asked to rise, you're going to discover that you can. The strength you've been building, the healing you've been doing, the faith you've been maintaining even when it felt futile, it's all been preparing you for this. You're going to amaze yourself with how you handle what comes. The storm metaphor also speaks to the speed at which things are going to move once they start moving. You've been in this slow crawl, this frustrating pace where nothing seems to happen, no matter how hard you try or how much you invest. And next month, the pace changes dramatically. Things that have taken months or years to barely budge are going to shift in days or weeks. Doors that were locked are going to swing open. People who were unavailable are going to become accessible. Opportunities that seemed out of reach are going to land in your lap. What's beautiful about this timing is that it's coming when you're finally at a point where you can receive it well. If this had happened earlier, you might have squandered it, made choices from ego or fear, not been able to hold the energy of it. But you're different now. You've matured through the waiting. You've developed discernment. You've clarified what you actually want versus what you thought you wanted. And so when this wave comes, you're going to ride it instead of being pulled under by it. There's also something about recognition in this surprise. You're going to be seen by someone who matters, someone whose opinion or acknowledgement or validation has weight for you. Maybe it's a mentor, a leader in your field, someone you respect deeply. And their recognition is going to confirm something you've known about yourself, but haven't had reflected back to you in a meaningful way. And that external confirmation, while it's not the source of your worth, is going to feel incredibly affirming. It's going to strengthen your belief in yourself and what you're capable of creating. What's also present is a financial element. The storm brings resources. Money that's been tight starts to loosen. Opportunities that generate income appear. Debts get resolved. Something you invested in starts paying returns. And that financial shift isn't just about numbers in an account. It's about the freedom and options and breathing room that come with financial stability. It's about not having to make decisions from scarcity anymore. It's about being able to say yes to things that align with your values instead of just saying yes to whatever pays the bills. The emotional intensity of next month is also going to clarify your relationships. Some people aren't going to be able to handle your growth. They're going to feel threatened by your expansion, or uncomfortable with your happiness, or confused by the fact that you're changing the dynamics you've always had with them. And their discomfort is going to show you who's really in your corner and who was only there as long as you stayed small or struggled in ways they could feel superior to. That clarity, while it might sting, is a gift. You need to know who your people actually are. What's going to make you cry most deeply is the moment you realize you're not alone anymore. You've been carrying so much by yourself, functioning in isolation, pretending you're fine when you're barely holding it together. And next month, support arrives. Someone steps in. Someone sees you struggling and offers help without you having to ask. Someone shows up with exactly what you need at exactly the right time. And being on the receiving end of that kind of care, that kind of attention, it's going to crack you open in the most healing way. The storm is also creative. If you're someone who makes things, who writes or paints or builds or designs, next month is going to bring a surge of inspiration that feels almost overwhelming. Ideas are going to pour through you faster than you can capture them. You're going to be in flow states that feel transcendent. And the work that comes out of you during this time is going to be some of the most authentic and powerful you've ever created, because it's coming from this raw, honest, emotionally available place. There's one more layer to this that I'm picking up, and it has to do with forgiveness. Next month, you're going to forgive someone. Maybe someone else, maybe yourself. And that forgiveness is going to release an enormous amount of energy that's been tied up in resentment or anger or regret. And once that energy is freed, it becomes available for creation, for joy, for connection. Forgiveness doesn't mean what happened was okay. It means you're no longer willing to let it define your present and your future. What's also true is that the storm is going to be disorienting while you're in it. You might not be able to see clearly where things are heading. You might feel overwhelmed by the intensity or the pace or the emotions. And that's okay. You don't have to understand everything while it's happening. You just have to stay present. You just have to keep breathing. You just have to trust that you're being guided, even when you can't see the destination. The surprise at the center of the storm is going to be a moment of pure grace, a moment where you feel held by something bigger than yourself, where you sense that you're exactly where you're meant to be, doing exactly what you're meant to be doing. And that knowing, that deep cellular certainty that you're on the right path, is going to sustain you through whatever comes next. It's going to become an anchor you can return to when doubt creeps in. What I want you to hold as next month approaches is that you're ready. You might not feel ready. You might feel terrified or unprepared or like you need more time. But readiness isn't about feeling confident. It's about having done the work that makes you capable, even if you don't feel capable yet. And you've done that work. You've earned this breakthrough. And when it comes, when the storm arrives and the surprise reveals itself, you're going to know in your bones that everything you went through to get here was worth it. Okay, thank you so much for watching Mary's Angel Tarot. If this reading resonated with you, don't forget to like and subscribe for more messages. Take care of your energy, trust your intuition, and I'll see you in the next reading. Bye-bye.